Information that I have and that is widely shared by NATO allies is, as I've said, there is an escalation of over 100,000 Russian troops at the border, and we are preparing for any eventuality as a result. For example, we have moved all of our Canadian troops west of the Dnipro River, and that is essentially what other allies are doing as well. In terms of the multilateral relationships, we stand united and concerned about this unwarranted Russian aggression, and we will very much continue to work towards a diplomatic solution based on deterrence and defense, which is the very basis of the NATO alliance since its inception after the Second World War. We have to be clear that this is a very concerning situation where NATO is being tested. And indeed, we have to remember that we stand together as allies to protect the international rules-based order, the territorial integrity of Ukraine, as well as stability in Ukraine, in Europe, and indeed in the world wide.
Now, Russia is saying that they are de-escalating. NATO is saying that there's no evidence of that whatsoever. Do you think that you can actually trust Russia and negotiate a diplomatic solution when they're actually lying to NATO?
I think that the important thing for us to remember is that the facts are clear. One fact is that Russia illegally occupied Crimea in 2014. Another fact is that there is and continues to be an escalation of Russian troops at the border, including aviation sites in Belarus and in Russia. There's a buildup of naval activity in the Black Sea. These are all concerning issues for us. Those are the facts. We are preparing for any eventuality, and we are continuing to work towards a diplomatic solution.
Let's talk about sanctions as well. For instance, the UK was saying that they are ready to block Russian firms from accessing the City of London. What sort of sanctions is Canada ready to put on the table?
The important thing for Canada's standpoint, and my colleague Minister Joly has spoken about this extensively, is that we will act in a coordinated fashion with our allies, in certainly the UK and the US on this matter. We have in the past imposed sanctions on over 400 individuals and organizations. This is a very important issue for us, but we believe in coordinated activity, and we will undertake our posture in that way. I will add that Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has said to me that Canada stands as one of the leading countries in terms of its response to Ukraine and the Ukrainian crisis right now, and we will continue to occupy that very leading role in responding to that crisis.
Let me just go back to 2014 for a moment, because you've mentioned the illegal annexation of Crimea in the eyes of NATO. In the result of that, in the aftermath of that, there were several sanctions that were put in place. But now Russia is actually threatening to invade Ukraine fully. Does actually sanctions work?
I will say that we are taking a multifaceted approach, and let me take you back to 2015 when Canada implemented a training mission in Ukraine. Under that training mission, we have trained over 30,000 Russian soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers, including 2,000 members of the Ukrainian National Guard. This training mission was recently extended and expanded by Canada to the tune of $340 million. We have also sent lethal and non-lethal aid, or in the process of sending that aid now. We have sent and are continuing to send financial aid, which will amount to approximately $700 million. So we are on the ground with a training mission, with financial aid, with aid of lethal and non-lethal sorts, and we will continue to undertake a very, I would say, concerted approach to support Ukraine with our allies.
So the Canadian Defense Minister there, I have to say that all of the NATO defense ministers have just started to gather in the building you see behind me for their second day of discussions. The Ukrainian Defense Minister will join those conversations virtually later on today. So you can see that this topic is high on the agenda, and there is definitely a concern here in Brussels that these tensions with Russia will become the new normal. And in fact, Jens Stoltenberg, the head of NATO, said that precisely on Wednesday.